Hi, my name is Jim Snyder. I'm a licensed clinical mental health counselor supervisor. God called me to be a therapist. I actually was in a re-upswing of my 20-plus year IT career that I have advanced degrees in. However, God called me out of it because I was helping others. I was literally at a men's group. The pastor was talking with somebody and said, yeah, you need to talk to Jim. He has a lot of advice and wisdom. And I gave him my advice and wisdom. They both turned to me at the same time and said, wow, you should be a counselor. And I'm like, yeah, and my IT career is going good. And then literally later on that evening, someone looked at me and said, do you ever hear God speaking to you through other people? And all I heard in each ear was counselor. And so literally came home and turned around and applied for college to get my master's in counseling. Other things I like to do at the ranch are, obviously, there's the pond behind us. I love to fish. Young men and women love to come out and fish and cast a line, wet a line, learn something. Some young men like the adult male interaction, the fathering. Same with some of the young ladies. So fishing is one of the big activities. Hiking, I like to hike the trails with or without a horse. What have I learned from working with horses? I have learned a lot, seeing how they're reactive to our behavior because, as prey animals, they can hear our heartbeats from up to 7 feet away. And when the human lies, some of the horses react to that. A middle-aged woman dealing with who had overcome drugs and fentanyl usage, had fallen back into it, and was living with her parents and her children. And we were using Cookie, and we had used some components in the arena that represented different times in her life, different people or people groups. For example, one was the recovery center where she got clean the first time and actually found that she wanted to be a therapist or a specialist in drug addiction recovery. And one was her parents, one was her kids. And each station, she had control of Cookie. She was just walking along in the path, and it just so happens every time she came to this one section, Cookie could sense something was off and would stop and wouldn't walk again, no matter how encouraging the client was. And so in that, we were able to address what that, why Cookie kept stopping at that point. And it turned out it was the parents, because she wasn't able to set boundaries with her parents and felt like her parents were in charge. And so she kept stalling. She didn't realize it, but she was physically stopping at that cone that happened to represent her parents. She was able to identify and was able to rectify by setting boundaries and setting goals for herself that would get her into a place where she could get full recovery of her addiction and be able to continue on the path of becoming a specialist. I like adults. I like helping teenage men that want to, grow. I've had a couple of those that have really invigorated me. And even the adults. I love helping women who might want a male's perspective on something. Even I've had some young adult males that have come out and wanted that father figure and what that might look like so that they can learn how to set boundaries with their father or have the courage to talk to their father. Veterans, I love working with veterans, law enforcement, first responders. Love trauma. working and helping people overcome trauma. Trauma and loss and grief and loss are a regular part of life. I feel like the horses tend to embody the Holy Spirit, and they're able to hear from Him and able to kind of manifest things that we can't even pick up or know. And I think this is what, God has a special place in His heart for horses. I will incorporate my faith in here when other people have expressed it. I like Twister a lot because he's often misunderstood. He has, I think, this wisdom and knowledge about him, and he also has a sense of frustration that he is unable to express the way he'd like to. And the way he'd like to is probably inappropriate for what we do here. So I think seeing him and working with him is always a pleasure. Not to mention, he's a gorgeous white horse, Cremello to be exact. So he does great with finger painting, and he's very, so I always like hanging out with him. Like right now, I think he's about to check out and fall asleep. He's a great horse. If you're nervous about starting counseling, all I say is take the risk, engage. We can talk about the fear, the anxiety that it comes up with the idea of coming to therapy. Everything we talk about is completely confidential. Don't have fear. First step for your healing is to take that risk, that risky step of calling, talking, showing up.